We often operate under the illusion that we are at the helm of our own mind, steering our thoughts, feelings, and actions according to our conscious will. It feels as though we are the drivers of our internal experience, charting a purposeful course through life's vast landscape. However, upon engaging in even a modest level of introspection, pausing to examine our inner workings, we quickly realize that this perception is somewhat misleading. In numerous instances, we are not truly in control but are merely following a built-in navigation system that surpasses our current knowledge and understanding. This internal system operates like an intricate, sophisticated software running on hardware of incredible complexity, much like an advanced operating system embedded deep within our subconscious. All we see on the surface is a display screen, an interface that presents us with familiar choices and directions, yet behind it lies a vast, labyrinthine network of algorithms, data streams, and subconscious influences. If we do not make an effort to familiarize ourselves with this navigation system, how it functions, where it's trying to guide us, and how to override it when it attempts to lead us astray, we risk wandering aimlessly through life's corridors. At best, this aimless journey might lead us to unremarkable destinations. At worst, it can result in destructive or disastrous outcomes that threaten our well-being and growth. Reflecting on this analogy, one can see why the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, a towering intellect of the 20th century, dedicated much of his life to exploring this inner terrain. Jung was arguably one of the most capable and insightful minds ever committed to understanding the intricacies of the human psyche from within. His quest was fundamentally about developing a comprehensive internal map, a way to conceptualize and navigate the complex software that runs our minds from a top-down perspective, allowing us to better understand ourselves and gain mastery over our internal universe. Carl Gustav Jung was born in 1875 in the small town of Kesswil, Switzerland. His father, Paul Jung, was a humble rural pastor living modestly on the fringes of society, and his mother, Emily Jung, was a highly eccentric woman, marked by depression and a penchant for seeing spirits and otherworldly phenomena. From a young age, Jung was a deeply introverted and isolated child who spent much of his time in solitary pursuits. He engaged in vivid acts of make-believe, projection, dissociation, and analysis of the adults around him. His early education was fraught with difficulty. Jung was strongly resistant to school, underperforming significantly to the point of almost developing neurosis. He fainted regularly, often using this as a means to escape academic pressures. Despite these challenges, as he matured, a transformation occurred, encouraged partly by his father's stern concern about his perceived incompetence. Jung responded dramatically by immersing himself more intensely in his studies. He became an avid reader, especially delving into philosophy, religious texts, and mysticism, seeking meaning and understanding beyond the superficial levels of conventional education. After completing secondary school, Jung rejected the traditional family path of religious vocation. Instead, he chose to pursue medicine at the University of Basel. By 1902, he earned his medical degree from the University of Zurich and began working at a psychiatric hospital. There, he was mentored by Eugen Bleuler, a renowned psychiatrist of the time, who helped shape Jung's early understanding of mental illnesses and the human mind. As his reputation grew, Jung eventually left the hospital to establish his own private practice, where he gained recognition for his innovative approaches. Jung's professional journey took a pivotal turn when he crossed paths with Sigmund Freud, the influential and controversial founder of psychoanalysis. Their first encounter in 1907 was electric. They spoke for approximately 13 hours straight, diving deep into their shared fascination with the unconscious mind. This initial meeting blossomed into a close friendship and collaboration that transcended mere professional interest. They traveled extensively, lectured together, analyzed each other's dreams, and immersed themselves in the mysteries of human psychology, sharing theories and insights. However, despite their initial rapport, inherent differences gradually surfaced. Freud, who held a scientific reductionist view of the mind, prioritized empirical evidence and biological explanations. Jung, on the other hand, was more open to mystical, spiritual, and symbolic interpretations of psychological phenomena. Their relationship took on a father-son or teacher-student dynamic, complicated by Freud's elder authority and Jung's emerging independence. As Jung's understanding of the mind deepened and his career advanced, conflicts arose. Disagreements over core theoretical principles, including the nature of the unconscious, the importance of myth and symbolism, and the direction of psychological therapy, led to a rupture in their friendship in 1913. This split marked a significant turning point in Jung's life. From around 1913 to 1918, he experienced a profound midlife crisis, what he later described as a psychological breakdown. During this tumultuous period, Jung's introspective explorations intensified. He engaged in deep self-analysis, conducting psychological experiments on himself, and delved into the depths of his unconscious mind. These inner journeys not only helped him recover, but also solidified his distinctive perspective on psychology. The turbulence of this phase was transformative, shaping his theories and positioning him as an independent thinker outside of Freud's shadow. At its core, Jung's life's work was dedicated to understanding what constitutes the psyche, the totality of one's personality, including thoughts, feelings, motivations, and behaviors, comprising both conscious and unconscious elements. His ultimate goal was to develop theories and practical methods enabling individuals to integrate all components of their psyche, striving toward a state of internal wholeness and authenticity. In Jung's view, the psyche was an active, dynamic system driven by a relentless urge toward self-realization. It constantly pushes upward from the unconscious, seeking awareness and integration. He famously expressed this in the idea that man's task is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. This process of bringing unconscious material into conscious awareness, what Jung called individuation, was, for him, the fundamental purpose of life and the key to psychological health. Jung believed that human personality emerges from a continuous, often elusive interplay between the conscious and unconscious domains. While consciousness represents our immediate awareness, our sense of self, our thoughts, perceptions, and decisions, it is only a fragment of the whole. Beneath the surface lies a vast unconscious realm that includes repressed memories, forgotten experiences, and archetypal symbols inherited from collective human history. Much of who we are, our core traits, motivations, and even the things we believe we dislike or fear, reside in this hidden layer. Because of its elusive nature, most of this unconscious material remains inaccessible through ordinary awareness, yet it exerts a powerful influence on our behaviors and choices. To evolve into a more authentic and complete version of ourselves, Jung argued, we must endeavor to make this unconscious realm conscious. This entails consciously engaging with, understanding, and integrating its contents, an ongoing process of individuation. Only through such efforts can the individual uncover their own inner truth, reconcile conflicting parts of their personality, and approach a state of internal harmony. To facilitate this understanding, Jung devised a model of the psyche comprising several key components. Starting with the broadest distinctions, he identified three primary realms: consciousness, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Consciousness is the realm of immediate awareness, the thoughts, perceptions, and experiences we experience as us. At the core of conscious awareness sits the ego, which functions as the center of personal identity. The ego constructs the narrative we tell ourselves, maintaining a sense of continuity and stability amid the flux of mental life. It is expressed outwardly through what Jung called the persona, a mask or social facade that we present to the world, crafted to fit societal expectations and roles. While essential for social functioning, the persona often becomes disconnected from the truly authentic self, filtering and sometimes distorting the deeper truths of the inner life. Beneath the ego lie two significant structures: the personal, unconscious, and the collective unconscious. The personal unconscious comprises elements that have been repressed or ignored by the ego, undesirable traits, forgotten memories, or unresolved conflicts, similar to Freud's view of the unconscious. These aspects continue to influence behavior indirectly and can surface through dreams or symbolic insights. The collective unconscious is Jung's most distinctive contribution, a universal psychic reservoir inherited from our ancestors. This realm contains archetypes, innate universal symbols and motifs that transcend individual experience and are expressed through myths, dreams, art, and religious imagery across diverse cultures and epochs. Jung believed that these archetypes formed the underlying foundation of human experience, shaping our perceptions and reactions without our conscious awareness. He observed that recurring themes, such as the hero's journey, the wise old man, the shadow, the anima and animus, appear consistently across disparate cultures and historical periods. This universality suggested to Jung that these motifs are manifestations of inherited psychic structures which he called archetypes. These archetypes preconfigure our cognitive tendencies and influence our personality development from the earliest stages. Within the unconscious realm resides the shadow, a repository of repressed, denied, or disliked aspects of the self, the darker unconscious side of the personality. The shadow contains potential faults, impulses, and traits that the ego prefers to ignore or deny. Nested within or related to the shadow are the anima, the feminine qualities in men, and animus, the masculine qualities in women. These archetypal figures represent our inner gender opposites and often manifest in dreams and projections, influencing our relationships and self-understanding. All these components, the ego, shadow, anima, animus, and archetypes, operate in active circulation within the psyche, seeking balance and integration. At the very core of this system lies the self, which Jung described as the total authentic center of the personality, the union of both conscious and unconscious realms. The self embodies wholeness and signifies the realization of one's true nature, desires, and potential. The process of individuation involves gradually bringing the unconscious contents into conscious awareness, integrating them into the whole personality, and aligning with the self. This path requires ongoing effort through therapy, self-reflection, and personal development to get the ego and the persona as close as possible to this inner totality. This journey demands radical honesty and self-acceptance. Confronting the darker aspects of oneself, the shadow, necessitates acknowledging one's faults, impulses, and shameful tendencies without denial or repression. Recognizing that these traits are a fundamental part of human nature is often unsettling but essential for authentic growth. Jung emphasized that good does not become better by being exaggerated, but worse, and a small evil becomes a big one through being disregarded and repressed. Awareness of one's shadow makes it manageable, allows for conscious control, and transforms potential destructiveness into a source of strength and insight. In essence, true self-acceptance involves a difficult but vital act of honesty, accepting the entirety of one's being, including flaws and imperfections. This process disrupts the superficial sense of self we construct and challenges us to embrace vulnerability, humility, and authenticity. It shakes the very foundations of the psyche, but it is also the only pathway toward genuine fulfillment and inner harmony. Jung's profound insights and theories offer a guide for navigating the complexities of the inner world. His work provides not only understanding but also practical methods to help individuals explore and integrate their unconscious material. Ultimately, Jung's vision is that each person can learn to operate their internal navigation system with greater awareness and control, setting their own destination points according to where they truly wish to go, rather than merely following a pre-programmed, instinctive route. This journey towards self-knowledge and wholeness is arguably one of life's most challenging and rewarding endeavors, requiring effort, courage, and honesty. Yet it holds the promise of turning us from passive passengers in our own minds into conscious drivers, capable of steering more deliberately toward authentic fulfillment. My journey of self-discovery begins now, and I invite you to join me. Share your thoughts, experiences, or reflections in the comments below. Let's grow together and explore the depths of our minds. Start today. Your path to understanding your true self is just a few steps away. Comment now. My journey of self-awareness begins today.